Nowadays, all of us are involved in international relations. What's happening in the rest of the world affects all of us. But yet our sources of information and our ability to understand what's happening in the rest of the world is still very limited.
New information is thrown at us every day. It is pretty difficult if you sit back and look at the barrage of information to make sense of how should we look at the world as a result.
We have endless information, but not all of it is verifiable, not all of it is credible.
We provide that good analysis because we are unbiased, we are independent.
I see Chatham House as a hub that brings together the intellectual infrastructure of how we deal in today's world with the policymakers, the decision makers, the people who make a difference in today's world.
It acts as an interface between governments, between decision makers, between policy makers, and the academics, experts, politicians and journalists who are out there on the other side of government.
What we try to do is try to improve the level and the quality of decision making that takes place by both policymakers but also business people.
Decision makers are themselves influenced by what they're seeing happening out there in the public domain. Technology becomes incredibly important for pushing beyond that sort of elite audience.
The younger generations tend to more and more check their internet as their first port of call rather than their old library.
There is an ecosystem of content that happens online which you have to be part of. And certainly in the case of Chatham House, now that you can do that, you are really kind of morally obliged to do so. The work here is really, really valuable, but if it's not getting shared, that's almost a shameful thing.
So we've got to be able to reach out beyond the confines, the physical confines of Chatham House, and try to engage people in the debate in a real-time way that we would normally undertake in a meeting room.
It becomes, in some cases, physically impossible to be here for every meeting. And so an interactive tool that would allow everybody to be able to interact directly with the events, with the research and everything else that is happening here at Chatham House would be a great facility.
It will make us much more relevant and much more productive and valuable to our main constituency, which is governments that need to struggle with this very difficult world.
We now, with the new technology, we have the ability to really take Chatham House to the world.
Please support our vision to improve Chatham House's online communications through this year's annual fund. Help take Chatham House to the world.